welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where if you're looking at the screen and saying, well, that can't be right, well, yeah, you might be right. This is the latest puzzle from Fistamafel, which I suspect is some sort of joke. It's just a 7x7 grid with one arrow in it, some funny shaped regions, and a restraint that says you can't have consecutive digits in a domino. That's it, and apparently this solves uniquely. Bizarrely, it has only got 2 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters Germany, so this is about as approachable as any puzzle you will ever find from the great man. So definitely do have a go at it if you have the chance. It'll be your chance to say, if you've never done one, that you've completed a Fistamafel puzzle. It is some sort of miracle to me. I just love this short arrow. It's so silly. But I'll read you the rules in just a moment or two. I've got a few things to say first. Let me start by wishing Harry a very happy birthday. Harry, you're turning 20, I think, today. Your girlfriend Emma let us know this, so I hope you have a brilliant day with lots of cake. And also Zane, you've turned 24 today, I think. Now, your boyfriend Adiz let us know this, and he mentioned that you use our videos to fall asleep to, which is totally sacrilegious. Now, I'm only joking. I think lots of people do that. But we hope you have a brilliant day as well. Now, it's the 1st of August today, which is brilliant news if you're a patron of the channel over on Patreon, because that means it's time for the monthly reward, which came out at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We've tried to make it slightly easier this month in recognition that some of the puzzles that we've been releasing on Patreon, certainly in July, were very challenging. So it should be approachable to everybody. It's a series of puzzles, sort of genuinely approachable Sudoku with a mixture of some puzzles in there as well. We hope you enjoy it. We might beat our record entry. I think our record entry for a monthly reward was something like 2,000 correct entries. So do have a look at it if you haven't had it. Well, if you haven't done one recently, or you found the puzzles tricky recently, it's definitely going to be up your street, I think. Now, more of you have actually solved the modular lines Sudoku packs that we've got over on Patreon at the moment as well. So I'll read out a few names. Michael Stranieri, Filippo Chona, Jerome Duman, Martin Chargot, Daniel Graves, Pamela Skinner, Olivier Bruno, Daryl Gilbert, Andrew Nicholson, Hrude Malupotla, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and John Andrew McCulloch. All of you, very well done. You've successfully solved all of the puzzles in the modular lines pack, and there are more of you who've actually managed to do that. I'll read out some more names in the coming days too, of course. Other than that, I'm going to be streaming tonight, I hope, if the internet allows it. Typo Man is the game. It's some sort of weird hybrid of platform gaming and anagramming, which seems like it might, well, the platform gaming may not play to my strengths, but the anagramming I ought to be okay at. So, yeah, I'd love to have your company. If you have a few minutes spare, 10 o'clock UK time, I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. And the only other thing to mention, of course, is Domino Sudoku, and this is actually quite big news. The app has been out for about a couple of weeks on Android and App Store, but today is the day it is released on Steam. So if you've been waiting for it to play it on your PC, you should now be able to do that. I'll try and remember to put a link to that as well. We're really proud of it. It contains puzzles by people like Fistamafel, so I shall say no more. It should be a lot of fun. Anyway, let's have a look at Fistamafel's puzzles. I'll read you the rules. It's called I'm a Poor Lonesome Arrow. That's the name of the puzzle. There's a song that's called I'm a Poor Lonesome Cowboy or something, isn't there? But I don't know the song. I'm not going to play it in the introduction. Yeah. And, well, obviously this is the Poor Lonesome Arrow in the puzzle. These are the rules. Place the digits 1 to 7 in the grid such that each row, column and outlined region contains each digit exactly once. So what that's telling us is, for example, this little S-shaped region here has to have the digits 1 to 7 in it once each. So does this one, so does this column, so does this row. So it's sort of normal Sudoku rules, except with funny regions and the digits 8 and 9 missed out. Digits along an arrow sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. So those two digits, if this was 1 and this was 2, that would be a 3. That's how arrows work. And orthogonally adjacent cells, i.e. those that share an edge, so basically that means any domino, cannot contain consecutive digits. So, oh, actually, I've just realised that means the arrow example I did was wrong. So these two squares, if this was 5, this cell could not be 4 or 6, and neither could this one. And that's why you can't have 1 and 2 on this arrow, because 1 and 2 are consecutive, and that would break the rule about not having consecutive digits in a domino. That's it. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And the first thing I suppose I'm seeing here is there is definitely some geometry about this grid that looks mildly interesting. So if we look at this B-shaped region here, and we think about where those 2 digits go in column 1, well, because they can't repeat in their region, they have to go at the top there. So these 2 cells must be the same as these 2 cells. And the same is going to be true, look, of those 2 cells. In fact, yes, the outside regions are rotationally symmetrical in the sense that this B-shaped region is getting flipped 90 degrees to become that region, and that's getting flipped to become this Q-shaped region. So those 2 cells have got to be there. These 2 cells will have to appear there in column 7. I almost said column 9 then, but it's column 7, isn't it? And those 2 cells will have to appear there in row 7. But what this is not telling us, and what this can never tell us, is the quantum of any of these colours. So actually I'm now thinking this might be totally the wrong way to go about this. Sorry, yeah, actually I'm going to have to get some idea of the numbers in order to use the consecutive digit restriction. So perhaps what we're meant to do is to start with the arrow, which seems a bit weird because it's so small. But well, I suppose, although we have worked out it's not a 1-2 arrow equaling 3, because these 2 cells would be consecutive. So can it be a 1-3 arrow equals 4? And the answer to that is probably, but not if this was a 3. Because obviously if we tried that and made that 4, 3 and 1 like that, the 3 and the 4 are now consecutive. Oh, that's right. That's lovely. Right, okay. This doesn't work either. That is very cute indeed. Now, if you can't see why, let's do an agadmator. Pause the video, and I'll give you a couple of seconds. For those of you who managed to do it, congratulations. But there is a reason that this cell can't be a 3 with a 4 in this position. And that's to do with where we're going to put 3 in this region, look. It can't go here by Sudoku, it can't go there by Sudoku, and it can't go in its own arrow, or in its own circle, because if we do put a 3 here, the implication would be that mathematically this needs to be 0, so that 3 plus 0 equals 3, and that definitely breaks the rules of Sudoku. So if... yeah, okay. So in fact, what we should be noting here is that this digit always goes in exactly that cell in this region. And for that region, or for that reason, that's very well. Clearly 1, 3 and 4 won't work then, because you have to put a 3 in one of those cells, and whichever one you put it in, it's either going to be adjacent to the 4 directly and break it, or it's going to get transposed using the power of orangeness into this cell and be next to the 4, and that won't work. So this is quite interesting actually, because now we've learned just from this simple point around the orange cell that this circle digit must be greater than 4, so it's only got the ability to be 5, 6 and 7. Ah, it's lovely. It's lovely. It can't be 5. It's just beautiful. How could this be 5? That's the question to ask next. Because this domino would be a 2-3 pair, or could be a 2-3 pair. That doesn't work because 2 and 3 are consecutive. Now if it's a 1-4 pair, we've got this same problem again. Wherever we put the 4, it will end up being next to the 5 in this region. If this is the 4, it's next to the 5 and it's broken. If this is the 4, it's in orange and gets put down there, and now it's broken. It's still next to the 5. So now we've learned that this square is not, well, it's not 5 either. It's 6 or 7 now. So let's get rid of 6. I bet this is going to be a 7. So if this is a 6, again, how is this going to work? It can never be a 1-5 arrow, because the 5 will always end up either in orange or here and be next to the 6. So if it's a 6, it has to be a 2-4 arrow, which would make this a 2-4, which would mean the rest of this box would have to be filled with odd digits, because we've used up 2, 4 and 6 in the region already. So this would have to be 1, 3, 1, 3, 5 and 7. And these would be 2 and 4. So this could never be 1, 3 or 5. So this would have to be 7, and this would have to be a 1, 3, 5 triple. But 1, 3 and 5 is a bit annoying, because obviously none of these can ever be consecutive with each other because they're all odd. So that might not be immediately... Well, this couldn't be 3 because this is 2 or 4. And 3 is always consecutive with 2 or 4. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not immediately seeing why that's wrong then. So maybe my inkling was incorrect. Maybe we can get rid of 7 from here. Ah, yeah, okay. Well, if this is 7, that cannot be a 3-4 pair, can it? Because 3 and 4 are consecutive. And it can't be a 1-6 pair, because that would mean whichever one of these was the 6 ends up either here or here, and it would be consecutive with 7. So if this is 7, this has to be 2, 5. So this has to be 2, 5. Is that broken? I'm not sure. It might be. Oh. Hang on, there's a problem here. Hang on. I'm just checking this because it seems so ridiculous. Yes, this is it's absolutely broken. It's really beautiful. So if this is 7, this is forced to be 2, 5, which forces these two squares to be 2, 5. Now what are we putting in that square? Because I don't think we can put anything in that square. Its options on the face of it from a Sudoku perspective are 1, 3, 4, 6. But because one of these is a 5, you can never put 4 or 6 here. And because one of these is a 2, you can never put 1 or 3 here. It will make a consecutive domino. That's absolutely ridiculous. So actually, this is a 6, which means that these are 2s and 4s. So now we might as well pencil mark, I think. These have got to be all the odd numbers. This square, because it's next to 2 and 4, it is a 7, isn't it? Or am I going mad? I think it is a 7, because it can't... There's a 2 in one of these, so it cannot be a 1 or a 3. There's a 4 in one of these, so it can't be a 3 or a 5. That is just a 7. So that means that this is a 1, 3, 5. Sorry, shopping delivery. So I had to go and open the door. What were we doing? What were we doing? 8? There's no 8s in this puzzle. Okay, I got a 7 here. How did I get a 7 there? I got a 7 there because... Oh yes, I know why. It's because 2 and the 4 here rule out 1, 3 and 5 from this cell. So that is 7. Okay, so these were not 7. And then we can say that that's not 5, it's next to a 6. In fact, that's not 3 either, because it's next to a 2 or a 4, so that would be a consecutive domino. So that's a 1. We've got a 3, 5 pair here. This 1 can't be next to 2, so that's a 4, that's a 2, that's a 4. And it's not impossible that this puzzle is just going to collapse now, actually, because it's such a massive constraint once you get a few digits. This non-consecutive malarkey becomes quite potent. Let's... Ooh, I was just wondering where 6 was going. Ooh, it's almost... Where does 6 go in the S-shaped region? It can't go next to the 7, so it's got to go in one of those two cells. And that means you can't put 5 in these cells. Obviously, if 5 was in one of these cells, it would be next to the 6. 5 can't go there, it's next to that 6. So 5 in the S-shaped region is in one of 4 positions. There must be a 4, look. Because of the logic we did at the start, that domino transposes to this domino, so there must be a 4 in one of those two positions. Ooh, okay, let's have a look at this row for a moment. We've got to put 2, 6 and 7 into those positions, but that domino is interesting, because if it was a 6-7 pair, it would break the puzzle. So that means there must be a 2 in this domino, which means that is not a 2. Okay, so now where does this cell go in row 1? And the answer is in that domino again. So these squares are from 4, 6 and 7. And now I've got a 2, 4, 6, 7 quadruple in this Q-shaped region, which means these cells are 1, 3 and 5. No, okay, so we can't. I was wondering, no, but I can't. I suddenly thought I could limit this, but I can't. That's total nonsense. So what do we do now? That's the next question. Oh, okay, we could ask a very simple question. Where does 7 go in this region? And the answer to that is I have not got a clue, except I know it's not in that domino at the bottom because of Sudoku. So it's in one of those cells, which is looking at that cell. So that's a 6. This is now a 2, 7 pair, which means these are not 7, of course, which is what we'd expect, given we've got 4, 6 here. So we knew we were going to get 4, 6 here. So now 6 in the B-shaped region must be down here. It's amazing how sort of fluent the solve is. It's so clear what you have to do next. It's remarkable setting. Just a 2-cell arrow, all you need, some funny regions. And now I'm going to get hoisted by my own petard by not being able to fill anything else in, aren't I? Oh dear. I'm tempted to look at these two columns, just simply because once you get a few digits in these puzzles, 1, 3, 5 and 6, they normally bend over a little bit and let you tickle their tummy. 1, 3, well this can't be 5 because it would be next to 4, and it can't be 6, so that is 1 or 3 only. That can't be 6 because it would be next to 7. This can't be a 5, 6 pair because that obviously would be consecutive. So yes, okay, that is quite helpful actually. So if this cell was not 5, this would be a 1, 3 pair, and that would be a 5, 6 pair. So that must be 5, which means these two squares are 1, 3 and 6. 5 is now not there, I suppose. Where does 5 go in row 3? The answer is not in those squares, because it would be repeating in this region. Not this square, it's next to a 6, so it goes there. So this is now 1, 3 pair. can I do better than that? The answer is I don't know. I'm tempted to look at this row though now, because we've got 1, 3, 4 and 7 to place, and the 7 can't go here or here, so the 7 must be in one of 2 places, and this square can't be a 1 or a 3 because it would be next to 2, so that's a 4. 4 comes out of these squares which form a 1, 3, 7 triple, which means we now know these squares are even because we've used up all the odd numbers in the S shape. 1, 3, 5 and 7 have gone. So the 4 must go in the corner there. That must be 6 and that must be 2. And now, are we cooking with gas? That's the question. Maybe this column. 3, 5 and 7 to place. 3, 5, 7. And we can't put the 3 next to the 2. Oh, bobbins. I thought that was going to be good. It is good. That can't be 6 now because it would be next to a consecutive digit. So if that can't be the 6, this is the 6, which means that can't be 5 or 7 and has to be 3. So there we go. Here's something beautiful. This domino here, we know has to appear in column 1, so it's there. Well, the 6 is already placed, which means that must be a 1 or a 3, which gives us a pair here. So these squares have got to be 2s, 5s and 7s. And somehow that doesn't actually get resolved. Okie dokie. Right, so where should we look for the easy win now? We shall look at... don't know. Let's have a look at this row, maybe. Oh no, I know where we can look now. There's a 4 here. That's next to a 3 possibility. That cannot be 3, because it would be next to 4. So that's 1, that's 3, that's 3. So perhaps we check these digits now, because we're going to have some communication with these cells, aren't we? These have got to be 1, 2, 5 and 7. That's definitely not 7. That's definitely not 5. That's definitely not 2 by Sudoku. So this is just 1 or 7. That can't be 2. It would be next to 3. That can't be 5 or 7. It would be next to 6. This is where I feel like I'm probably missing. Yeah, I am. Look, that cell is next to a 4, so that can't be a 5. So that gives us a 1, 2 pair, which makes this a 7, this a 5, that a 7, that a 5. We've got a 2, 7 at the top. And wherever the 2 goes is going to tell us where the 3 goes in row 2. But look, we need 1s, 3s and 6s into those positions, and this cell can't be 3. Not sure if we can do better than that. I suspect we might be able to. What about this row then? 1, 2, 3 and 5 to place, and you can't put the 5 next to the 6, so the 5 can just be placed. This cell's got to be a 1, 2 or a 3. The 5 rules this out from being a 6, which places the 6 in the row 5, whatever that is. Can we do better? Well, actually, yes we can. Now this region needs a 4 in it, and the 4 seems to only be able to go there, which means this square is a 1 or a 2. We're getting, so look at these weird diagonals. We're getting 4s, 6s. Does that mean that's got to be a 6? Well, I don't know if it means that. It might do, but one thing I've just noticed is I can place 5 in the bottom region, because it can't go in those squares and it can't go next to a 4. So that's a 5, that's a 3, that's a 5. Oh, and it worked the other way round then. The 3 is giving us the 2 and the 7, because if we put the 2 here, this would be a 2, 3 domino and be consecutive. So that's a 1. This is now a 2. That's a 1, 3 pair, so that's a 2, that's a 1. These squares here have got to be a 1, 6 pair. Don't know if that's resolved, can't see immediately. Right, how do we finish this? This must be nearly done. 2, 4 and 7 in there, so that's a 7 by Sudoku. And this is a 2, 4 pair. And the 7 gives us the 7 and the 3, which gives us the 1, the 3, the 1, the 3, the 1, the 6, the 6, the 4. Oh, the lovely. And now this at the top is what's resolving. Oh no, we can actually do it without using consecutiveness, but I was thinking I was going to use consecutiveness, and that is solved. Absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I mean, let's just remember how simple that idea was at the start. It was so clever. It's just basically the orange cell having to transpose down here completely broke the puzzle open, because it forced these two digits to be, well, it allowed us to remove 7 as a possibility from this circle, didn't it? And once we'd done, yeah, and it was because, weirdly, a 2-5 pair here with a 7 here gave this digit, the purple digit, absolutely no possibility to work, which is so crazy, and yet profoundly important. And from there, we really just filled it in. Lovely. Absolutely brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.